1998. Have not stepped on the field to do anything meaningful in almost 20 years. And we still talk, not daily, but pretty frequently. He is my friend. He is my guy. If I got a concern, if I'm mad at my wife, if my kid dribbled the ball off his foot and lost the game, I'm calling him. That's my guy. Like, that's the reality. And there's nothing you can do to change the guy that doesn't get drafted, the guy who doesn't get signed. You can't change his history. You better know his history. And not just his recent history, his, as far back as you can take it, know him. Have you talked to his high school coach? Have you talked to any teacher at his school? If you don't know the kid, it don't matter, because we know him. And you're trying to convince me that I should love this kid, and I'm telling you he's flawed. You got the wrong product. You're trying to sell me something I already got or something I don't want. So keep in mind, know your kids. If you know them, I promise you, you'll sign less people. You'll sign less people. You know, there are no best options in trying to get a kid an opportunity. Opportunities are based upon numbers and need. Teams operate from the position of need. Being an agent is a leverage game. You got to understand where the leverage points are at. When there's a space available, you got to be first in. So, I hate to say it, you guys are professional ambulance chasers. Kid gets hurt, you should know it. You should know. Kid rolled his ankle in practice, you should know. You should know when somebody's down, hurt, missing, whatever. You should know. Because I promise you, I've been on the practice field, kid goes down, some reporter is watching the first part of practice and tweets it, and my phone rings. Hey, I heard that so-and-so got hurt today. I'm like, he just made it inside. But I respect that guy because he's on his hustle. He was watching, I don't know if he's sitting at home, waiting for something to happen. But when it does, he's trying to be an opportunist. He's trying to get his guy in front of me as quickly as possible. Look, I don't even know how long the kid's out for. He could have just stepped in a hole. He'll be fine by this afternoon. I don't know. Give me until this afternoon. Call me back. Got it. But he was first on the chase. He knows, at least for nothing else, he's gonna get the first crack at me to let me understand that I got a guy to replace that guy. Like, you have to know the realities of the league. Like, offensive lineman goes down, they're probably bringing another offensive lineman. Don't call me with no defensive tackle because we lost an offensive lineman. He can play both. I'm telling you, he did it. He's not going to play both. We don't play like that at this level. J.J. Watt's an anomaly. He is not the normal guy. They're going to go play tight end and go play defensive end. It's not going to happen. It only happens when you're thin and you're into the season and your numbers are restricted. That's the only time it happens. It's funny to me how when you look at all of these kids and the opportunities that they're looking for, those opportunities are so slim to come by. Like, 256 kids get drafted. Another, 400 or 500 are going to sign college free agent deals. In that process, when that wave of guys goes out, they're on to the next one. Like, there's going to be 2,800 kids that we comb through preparing a draft board that's 150, 180 guys deep. Every year I was in Cleveland, so the first year, the last 2 years, was the most. 161 guys on the draft board and 167 guys on the draft board. That's it. I want 167 of these guys. The rest of them, doesn't matter. And guess what? I never ran out of names. Because everybody's different. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. Know where your kid fits. Know what system he should play in. Don't call the 4-3 team with the 30 front nose tackle. They don't want him. They don't need him. He don't fit. Offense is a little different now. I'm gonna agree with. Guess what? Tight ends, not in vogue so much no more. Fullbacks, I don't know. Can you run 4-5 and cover on kickoff? Because if he can't, he can't play. The guy that only plays, like, I love this guy. I love watching him play. The Lorenzo Neals of look, they're gone. Sam Gash, gone. Great days. Like back in the day, we smashed around football. That's not what we do no more. We spread that thing out. We want to be cute with it. We want the bubble screens, and we want to throw the ball. We want to feature the quarterback. That's what the NFL's heading to. Nobody wants to talk about it, but that's where we're headed. Nobody really wants to get in there and just grind you out and pound the ball. The tight end, he can make some money, but you better be able to run and catch. The guy that's a slug that's blocking, they're probably going to convert him into a tackle if they can. And if not, all he's good for is blocking. There's a handful of them. There's a handful of them that are in the league. And people are looking for them. But good luck finding them or making them. Or, understand what the league is and where they're going. Like, receivers, dime a dozen. Grow on trees. Running backs, until what, last year? No running back taken the first round up until Gurley and a man from Wisconsin, Gordon. They're marginalizing who's who and what's what. So if you want a high-priced guy, if you want a guy who thinks he's going to be, find your quarterback. Go dig you up one that can really sling it and be the guy. He will get paid, I guarantee you. If you go win games for people, he will get paid. Receivers, what's his skill set? Know who he is. And know the person you're trying to sell him to. You can't call certain offensive coordinators with the 5'10", 5'9" wide receiver. Guess what? He only deals with 6'4" guys. Look at the rosters. If you start looking at the rosters, you look at San Diego and you say, you know what? 6'4", 6'3", 6'4", 6'2", 6'3". Don't call him with a 5'11" guy. That's not what they do. Understand who you're trying to sell these guys to. Understand where you're trying to place them. If you don't, it's more work for you, but like you said, I get insulted when you call me and say, hey man, got this 5'6" guy, 4'2", and I think he could be a great third down back. Yeah, but that's really not what we do. We put a big guy in the backfield on third down because he got to protect. We're going to release the tight end. He's going out to catch the ball. So we need 6 in protection. He's the 6th guy. Understand where the game's going and what guys want. Here's an interesting piece. He asked a question about coaches. Coaches have a hefty part in what we do. The reason they do is that they orchestrate the game plan. So I may love a kid, but if the coach hates him, he ain't coming. And the reason he ain't coming because he's already failed before he got there. The person that holds the key to that kid's future is the guy that's coaching. If you don't want to work with him, if you don't want to develop him, if he thinks the kid has an attitude problem, that's a problem because he's not going to take the time to invest in a kid that he doesn't even want to be around. He don't want to deal with. He doesn't think he can play. And there's a fine line. There's times when you make them eat the sandwich they don't want to eat. But for the most part, you try to avoid those confrontations of, I'm going to stuff this guy down your throat and you're going to like him because he's better than this other kid. I mean, look at the list. Well, guess what? One guy's 5'11", the other guy's 5'10 and a half. He wants the 5'11 guy. All the measurables are relatively the same, played in the same conference, both good players, same grades. Why fight the battle? Why give him the guy that him and the kid didn't hit it off when they met over there in the train station, and all of a sudden he's got a hard on for that kid. He don't like him. I'm not going to put that kid in that situation to have to deal with a guy that I know shooting at him the day he comes in the door. Coaches have a part in the process. That part in the process, in some respects, depends on who you ask. Some people say coaches, scout. That's the old school mentality. The new school thought is, this is the key word nowadays, everybody's collaborative. We work together. The reality is that there are decisions that get made in a strategic fashion based upon you don't want to put the kid in a position he's going to fail before he gets the job. Before he walks in the door, he's already failed. He can't make it with a guy that hates his guts. Another piece of advice. Every kid you get, any kid you sign, tell them they're much better off, even if they're not humble, pretending to be humble. So when somebody asks you, hey man, how much football you know? I know a little bit. Whatever coaches have taught me, I know a little bit. That guy that pops off, I know ball. Now you've been dealing with a bunch of testosterone-filled guys that say, you know ball, we're going to find out how much ball you know. Now, they start questioning them. Okay, so we got 3-by-1 set. We're going to run a slant on the backside, we're going to flare the back, we're going to run a seam route, we're going to run a bench, and then we're going to crawl on the front side, it's cover 4, we can throw the ball to them. They're going to start peppering you with questions like, okay, let's find out how much ball you know. Let's figure out where your brain is at. And when that kid fails, and he starts shrinking back, and be like, man, damn, I didn't think I knew. I don't know ball like that. But you don't know ball. Stop saying that. But if you say, you know what, I think I know a little bit, and they start asking him questions, and he can actually respond in a timely manner, then they'll give him some credit for it. You know what, you're smarter than you think you are. You're pretty good at this thing. Tell them all, fly low, be humble. Because those guys down there, everybody thinks they're a ball expert. I ain't been around a coach yet that hadn't invented football. They all have to some degree. They all have the things that they know. They know this works, and this is what it is, and this is what it should be. And just like me, I think I know what a player looks like. And hey, look, if I watch the tape, you're going to be hard pressed to change my mind if I watch the tape. So you show me some tape that I haven't seen and say, look, this is what it is. It doesn't work like that. So understand, like, as you know your players, you can kind of move the needle forward. Like, don't put them in situations where they're going to fail. Don't put them in situations where they're going to fail. There's a few more questions, and then I'll take questions as you guys want to fire them away at me. But he asked about evaluating my scouts. The way we evaluated them, and for the last probably 2 or 3 years that I've been in the league, probably more than that, probably 5 or 6 years, is we work on a 2-year scale. So, right kid up in college, you say he's this. Then he's got 2 years to achieve that marker, whatever the college scout said he's going to be. Sometimes he makes it, sometimes he doesn't. Here's what I'll tell you. I think I had a really good group of scouts in Cleveland. I got fired before I got a chance to really evaluate them because game's up before I got a chance to say, they're not 2 years in the league. You don't know if that kid made the marker or not. You can't, everybody wants instant coffee nowadays. The reality is, the fact that you're not developing, we should just start getting away from the 2-year projection, because if you don't play now, you're done. Scouts get evaluated on how well they potentially kind of make the evaluation of the players they recommend. The reality is, turnover happens so much you don't know. Because now a new staff comes in, they do something different than you hired the guy to do, and you're going down the road. So the reality is that unless you're in a position or with a club where there's stability, hard question for me to answer. You should be evaluated on your level of consistency of projecting where that player is going to play and how well he's going to perform. There's a variety of reasons of why a player makes it and a player doesn't make it. One of the biggest ones is visualization. You signed this guy to do this, you fired the coach, you brought somebody else in, or we made a change. Now we're asking to do something completely different than what he was brought here to do. Can't make it. That kid's dead in the water. His dream is dying because somebody else made a decision for him that he can't control. So again, it goes back to placement. Everybody wants to get their guy drafted, right? Here's what I'm telling you. Little known history fact as well. Let your guy be a college free agent. Don't go in the 7th round. Then you get to choose where he goes. Go be a PFA. It's better to be a PFA than to be number 255 on the board. It is. Because now you look up and say, you know what? My kid doesn't fit with you. I know you want him. He's going to get cut. Y'all got 7 on. You already got 7 receivers on your roster than we had last year. Yeah, but that 7th guy, no, don't sell me that dream. I'm going to send him over here. They got 2 guys, coaching change, freedom. He got a chance to impress. They don't know him yet. Like, calculated decisions, like, at a certain point, you start overrunning. Like, it's one thing to get a guy drafted, it's another thing to place a guy to make a team.
Let me ask you this.
Shoot.
Free agent guys, sometimes you got to take that first call at the end of the draft.
Yeah, you know what they say? You know what I'm going to say? Take it now, leave it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say to you.
Yeah.
And I got to take it. So I really don't have time to shop nobody around.
See, you're thinking about it in the wrong context. Like I told you earlier, if you was on your hustle, you'd have been calling 2 rounds ago. You'd already know. Before I could commit in either direction, you'd have your 2 or 3 teams lined up. So if you got your 2 or 3 teams lined up, that's like, hey, look, man, I appreciate it, but that's not good enough. If you give my guy 25 grand, it might be. Because that's going to be the next thing. Where's the money?
So
Last thing, I'm going to say this real quick. I'm joking with the money. Don't take the money. $25 grand for a college free agent is nothing. Make the squad and get 400. That's what it's about. It's about placing your guy in a position to get the 400 and leave the 25 alone. That's what it's about. Make sure you place your guy in the right spot. He'll make more money. And if you place him in the right spot and you don't get the 25, here's the other thing. I'm not gonna tell you all that. There's a lot of tricks that are happening in games that people are playing. Like, if you don't place your kid right, he may get the practice squad. If you place him wrong, you're gonna kill his chances to get that money. Now he's scrambling just to get a workout. That's a different existence than, cool, y'all cut me, y'all like me, I'm on PS, it's cool. Like, it's a different world. Go ahead.
Yeah, so you were saying 2 rounds, like about the 5th round or something, we need to be calling maybe the regular pro personnel or something like that.
Pro personnel, college director. GM's gonna be still drafted.
Right.
The college director probably gonna be in the draft with him too.
Right.
But then, if you had a relationship with a scout, if you had a relationship with somebody else, a lot of cats is trying to cut deals on the front end. Like, if my guy don't go, where we at? Where we at?
Start calling Saturday morning, screw for 4th round, 5th round.
Call Friday night.
Thanks for your time tonight. I got a long question, so I apologize in advance. But
All good.
you know, I'm listening to you talk, and you say you watched the 4 years of film. This is who the guy is. But then at the same time, you know, my fullback doesn't run 4 or 5. We turn the page. My question is, how much of your board is set coming into the combine? How much does it change when it leaves the combine? And then also, it's a 2-part question. As soon as next year, they're talking about eliminating some of the drills and injecting some new drills. Do you agree or disagree with that logic? I guess my question is, how much stock do you put in these combine drills?
The combine, in most people's estimation. So again, in a lot of teams' perspectives, I was done by the time we got here. This is confirmation. I think you're fast. You got a play speed of 7, which in our language is very good. Great. Play speed 7 is very good. What do you go out and run? Ran 4.7. Hey. Somebody missaw it. But you know what? That play speed holds up a lot more consistently than that 4.7. That guy's name is Jarvis Landry. Like, guys outperform what they perform out there running these drills. Like, the drills are confirmation. Like, guys that can run, they're gonna go out there and they're gonna run fast. I promise you. The kids that everybody thinks gonna run fast, they're gonna go out there and run fast. Very few of them come out here and stumble and run 4.9 and look bad. But if you can run, you can run. So, drills are confirmation. I think you're explosive. What was his vertical? What was his broad? Like, what was his 10? I thought he was explosive. Heck, it didn't seem like it. But then all of a sudden, like, give an example. We drafted Duke Johnson last year. The guy's a football player. I don't care what he would have run. I don't care how slow he would have been. I don't care how short he would have measured. When he gets the ball in his hands, he makes plays. Against good opponents, he gets better. So you tell me, should I have wanted him to run 4.43? Yeah, I'd have been probably a little bit more impressed if he ran 4.43, but he didn't. He just played ball. It ultimately comes back to the tape and the performance of the player. Like, the drills are cute, the speed is nice, I got it, but the reality is that, can he play football? As for changing the drills up, the only reason they still doing the same drills I did 20-something years ago is because they like the uniformity of being able to compare yesterday and today. It's a uniformity thing. So we still do the broad, we still do the jump, you know, we still punch the bags, and like, I'm probably the wrong person to ask that question to, because I believe in a lot of things that a lot of people don't, which is tradition and history have a place, but at some point we got to evolve. Some point we got to evolve.
Can I follow up then and ask you,
Sure.
I mean, what's your take on analytics, because the team that you worked for brought in all analytics people?
I'm a nerd. Part of what they do, I created.
Talked about that, right? Expand on that.
So, it's interesting. Like, life is what it is. Like, they're operating from trying to create a process that predicts football players. That's the genius behind analytics, is can we make the art a science. That's what you're trying to figure out. That's what they tried to do in baseball. That's what they did to some degree. A lot of baseball teams operate from an analytical platform. Now, scouts are out gathering information on what kind of kid is he, the background. They're actually PIs now. They're not really scouting the player on the performance of the player. They're scouting the player on the background of the person. They're trying to bring that same notion to football. Is can I predict that this guy is going to be this type of player based upon a subset of information that I have? So here's my question. If I told you no receiver in the National Football League that has caught 65%, 75% more of eligible targets, like he won't make it. Like if you don't catch 75% or more of the good throws in college, you will not make it as a national football. Is that valuable information? That's all analytics is. The question is, what's a good throw? That's where the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So there's still some art to science. But the science can be valuable. You just got to learn to bridge the gap. And that's what I believe in. I think there's a way to bridge the gap. I'm just not so certain that it's just so cookie cutter you can just start stamping that thing left and right. Like you got to know something. You got to have an eye for understanding what it is. And if you know what it is, then you can then line it up. Like if we had consistency, if all of us were scouts, let's say for the Browns, and we were all there for the last 20 years, we'd be pretty consistent. Because we know, after a while, I'd start to know what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are and where you're shy and where you're short. And I know, okay, every time you grade a guy, I need you to grade him after. You're going to cover up where he's weak, and we're going to fill it in, we're going to get it right. Different than when it's in, out, off, next guy, this guy, like, you can't get it right. You can't get it right. But the objectivity of it is to understand that the numbers are very powerful. They are. But both ways, they cut both ways. Like, I know more than I could say, but I mean, the reality of all of it is that everybody's trying to evolve. So I'm not mad at the Browns for trying to evolve. I support that notion for trying to advance the narrative. That's what we talked about a lot. Advance the narrative. Take it a step further. What can we add to it? So like I said, if you know the numbers of what they are, believe them. Believe them. Like if I know that 1% of seventh round picks are going to make it, but 3% of college free agents make it, y'all call me stupid for trading seventh round picks away? Or if I know that I took a kid in the seventh round who had a catastrophic injury, but he's got a 40% chance of coming back from that injury, or a 1% chance of taking a guy that realistically should go in the seventh round, give me the injured guy that he got a 40% chance of getting back to being a stud.
So why wouldn't you just draft those free agents, if that's the case? And if you know this so much, why do you draft the seventh rounder that's not going to make it?
That's the beauty of it.
One of those free agents.
That's what I just told you. Like it doesn't matter. Seventh rounders, got a 1% chance. What I'll tell you is I'd rather just trade my seventh round pick, move up in another round, get a better player that I like. Don't take anybody in the seventh round, and then bring in 55 guys for a workout after the draft and let the cream rise to the top. That's a different strategy. Not everybody wants to operate like that. They want to fill the roster up and say, we got our guys, we're done. I'm smart enough to know I'm not smart enough to get it all right. So let's figure out how many guys can we get to come, where are all the leftovers at. You want to come? Come. Because guess what? We found more kids doing that than we did selecting the guys we would have selected. But
along those same lines, you mentioned that your board's pretty much set by this time and more of a confirmation process, but for the undrafted free agents, the 400 and 500 guys that aren't invited to this weekend, how important is their pro day? Is that their end-all, be-all essentially for teams?
he is who he is. That 4 years of tape ain't changed. He's still going to be a college free agent. I don't care if he ran 4.1. He could have flown down to the other end of the field and caught every ball and looked great. He is who he is. Now, he may change it from a free agent to a priority free agent, but he ain't jumping from the free agent grade where he wasn't on the board. Now he done jumped into the third round. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Like when we end when ball's done being played, that's it. We evaluate you on how you play the game. Look, to walk around in shorts and do the drills and jump over the barrels and lift the weights, looks good. Looks real good. A lot of dudes gonna walk across that stage, ready for underwear modeling. Ready right now. The reality is, can they play the game? And when all the football is done, we make our assessments, we stack them up, we line them up, put them on the board. And guess what? There's gonna be some ties, there's gonna be some close battles. Man, these two dudes are real close. What that kid run? They put the 4-2 guy above the 4-5 guy. They knock him up. They may break some ties, but they're not skyrocketing up or down. You know, the thing that'll crush you more than anything is character. So what happened? We had this guy here in the draft, and that joker smoked weed right 2 days before the combine. We had to take him down, push him down, put him down there in the 7th round. If we get down there, he's still there, we'll talk about him then. Shoot.
Earlier you said, if you call after the draft, you say, take it now or I'll move on. Is there any, I mean, knowing what you know, because I had a free agent, he went with the team and it didn't work out, but he had calls later. One from a team I didn't even know had interest in. What can you do to kind of keep all the options open that night, or is that even a possibility? Where a team may come out of that?
It's risk assessment. Like, how much awareness do you have to your player's viability right after the draft and then moving forward? So like, player A, you represent, and now you figured out that there's 14 teams that have spent considerable time. I'm not just talking about, hey man, hey, good luck. That's not considerable time. Considerable time is talking to the coach and be like, hey, let me get 5 minutes with Ken. Let me get 2 minutes with David. Let me, like, that's when you're trying to really get to a kid and get inside his head and figure out who he is. You want to take him to dinner after his pro day. You want to take him to, you want to get inside his world. If your kid's having those kind of interactions, you should know it. Has the coach called him? Has the position coach from that club called him? Not just the scout. Has one of those coaches picked up the phone and called that kid? If you start monitoring the activity that kid is having, you'll know where the good fruit is at. And now if there's good fruit out there, pay attention. Hey, look, they like this kid, but they just drafted a kid in the 3rd round, and then like, room's full. Scratch them off, go on to the next one. And the question may happen is that there may be pieces to the puzzle that you don't know. Maybe a kid had a surgery or hurt a leg working out or something that you don't know. That's why you got to constantly, there's a constantness to understanding the landscape that you're looking at. So if you got a running back, you should know every team's situation on running backs. You should be tracking those running backs daily. Like every single day, knowing where they're at, knowing who's where, knowing if a guy got hurt, knowing if they brought a guy in to work out. Because if they, think about this, if you look at the roster, you say, man, they got 5 dudes. They got 4 of them dudes was there last year. The other dude was on practice squad. Okay, they got 5 guys. But you actually follow that waiver wire, you say, man, they worked out 6 running backs last week. They ain't done looking. Somebody in that group is not going to be there. They're trying to flesh that out sooner than later. If you always follow what's going on, it'll lead you to the information. Like, the information will lead you there. If you just follow NFL teams closely enough, they'll tell you what they're doing. But you got to be well versed in that landscape. If you deal with a club, you need to know that they just want my guy because his set of legs different than he's got a chance to make it in this other club. And it all comes down to you doing the homework on the front end. The kid's not going to do it. He's just not going to do it. He's going to lean on you to inform him of what are my chances, who's there, what's the realities look like. And then you're never going to be able to flush out, can you beat me at the game of take it or leave it? Because I got an infinite number of kids to look at. You got a certain number of clubs to look at. So,
Right. Real quick,
Yeah.
can you explain to the group how, when veteran free agency starts,
Yep.
when it ends, and how that affects the draft?
considerably. So, beginning of March, veteran free agency is going to open, right? Now we got this okay tampering period that is fluff, like whatever. Like teams, it's all about relationships. I'm going to go back to that thing again. Teams that have really good relationships with agents and they have players that are possibly going to move teams, shift teams, leveraging their positions. It's all about leverage. You can't sign a deal until whenever, but the more information you have to fight from your end, the better off you are. So if you know that this team, and this team, and this team have interest at this level, now you can fight that battle. Hey, look, $6.5 million is not going to be good enough. You push those numbers up, you get your guy in place, it's great, right? The reality is that when they sign a guy at your player spot, and they gave that guy a considerable amount of money, one spot is spoken for. Guarantee you. Put him on the roster. Because you're not going to pay a kid a signing bonus and turn around and cut him 2, 3, 4 weeks later. It's not going to happen. So, when you see guys signed in pro free agency, teams are spackling. I always call pro, he's the maintenance man. So he's going to spackle things up to keep it patched up. They're going to sign this guy in free agency. That's going to eliminate positions on the roster. Look at signing bonus, and then look at guaranteed funds. Guaranteed money that people are spending. They spend guaranteed dollars on a player, that player's in. Start doing the math. Okay, they got to just get this guy $4 million. They got a kid they took last year in the first round. They took another kid last year in the fourth round. And then they got the one kid that was their most productive. He just been there. So they got 5 dudes. Unless you want your kid to be on practice squad with that team, they're done. They're not going down the receiver train in whatever position your player plays. Start to understand that teams are filling in holes along the way. If they really wanted to invert this thing and mess it up and make it ugly, they'd have to draft before they had pro free agency. You see people get paid a lot less money. The problem is you got to commit early. You got to commit. You don't even know what you got, but you got to look. I got to go. I could have drafted so and so. I didn't know he was going to be available. But I just bought this one for $10 million. Got to live with it. The owner's not going to be happy. You turn around and say, "Well, we're going to go ahead and take this other guy, and that $10 million we just wasted." So, to this point, pro free agency is the beginnings of the end for roster spots. And as teams flesh them out and they move around, and again, count their own guys on that too. So they re-sign a guy, they re-sign their own, it's a roster spot gone. It's a roster spot gone. All you want to do is make sure there's holes in a roster for where your kid can fit. If he does not fit, move on. I don't know if I can answer your question.
Yeah, I'm good.
So just kind of piggyback onto that, the next set of things that happen, those OTAs where the future reserve guys are coming in and the other, is that sort of their first dress rehearsal of, hey, is this guy going to be okay, or do we need to draft that stuff?
No, by the time you get to OTAs and all those, and like when reserve futures get in play, and you come back in April, like they haven't done anything. All they can do is run and lift. Like there's no real field work, there's no real drill work. Like it's all classroom and weights and running. So by the time the draft happens, nobody's really been on the field other than to run some wind sprints. It's not until you get to them first OTAs when the rookies are there after the draft that you see guys in football-specific environments. Those football-specific environments are the ones that start to say, you love this guy when we're running wind sprints. Now it's not so friendly. He's got to actually drop his weight, change direction, and then make the play with a guy hanging on his back. It don't add up. Different than, like, you can't make those decisions on the front end. Like you're working from a pool of information that you have. I like this player because I liked him on tape. He did these things at Alabama, Oklahoma, Stillman, wherever he went to school at, I don't care. The reality is that this is what he did, this is what we think he can do. The question is, can we get him to repeat those things? When you miss the holes in a guy, and then you start making those awarenesses, that's when you start seeing teams flopping guys out. That's still a sweet spot. Don't give up on your kid just because teams are full. Teams are going to get to camp and be like, oh my God, why did we take this guy? They're going to do it every single year. They're going to fall apart. They're going to get in the camp and be like, we missed it. This guy can't play. There's going to be a kid that shows up that everybody's happy as heck to get, and they paid him $10 grand as a college free agent, and they're going to cut him the next day for a kid that they didn't pay a single dollar to. Got $10 grand to come to camp for a day and a half and to go back home.
To back up to the evaluation on college kids that we watch on the big plays, like you mentioned, Duke, when scouting organizations or clubs are looking at players that can make plays on tape, how much does the fact that they're a tweener, like they may not be as tall as the prototype or they're 10 or 15 pounds lighter than the prototype, things like that, how much does that play into the the evaluation process that could hurt them? And does the combine or pro day of that training to get their way to help them in any way, or is it that they are where they are regardless of?
I got you. I would tell you that a tweener is lacking weight. Lacking weight's the easiest one to fix, right? Like Guy's a little heavy, a little sloppy, got some baby fat on him, we can trim that up, no big deal. The reality, from my perspective, is that, at least as I look at it, the things I can fix, I don't sweat. If he's slow, he ain't gonna get no faster. But he's a little fat, okay, I can figure that out. He's a little slight, okay, maybe. Now, if he's really slight, like, okay, guy's 210, 18-pound pass rusher, but he's playing at a lower level, we ain't gonna be able to get him to 250. And then it's a combination of things. Like, I'm gonna size him up, I'm gonna look at him. His shoulders broad enough? How about his hips? How his hips look? Like, can I put weight on this kid? If I can't put weight on him, it's not gonna work. Then I start asking questions. So, what's the most your kid ever weighed? He's up to 235. Why is he 218? Man, we just want to play speedball. You know, we play in a conference where, you know, we got to play 115 snaps a game. All right, now it's starting to add up. The kid was running around at 235. It was probably too much weight for him to carry to play 115 snaps. They don't ever take him off the field. Okay, adds up, it holds together. So the most he weighed is what? It's 237 this offseason. Cool. All right, that's 13 pounds. I can swing that. I can figure it out. We can get back to 237. Then we'll go from there. The problem is, like, there's kids out here right now that are walking around, they're gonna have a jug of water with them. His weight ain't real. He gonna drink water from now until he get on that scale, and he gonna walk up there, his stomach gonna be out. He gonna stand up there, they're gonna measure him, they're gonna say 302. Whoo! When in reality, that sucker is 295 pounds. It's the reality. Like, everybody's playing the game. Like, you can't be fooled by, like, the measurables are matter, but they're not absolutes. They're guidelines. If the kid's close enough and you see the frame and you like what he is, great. If you don't, then, and I'll say certain places are sticklers. Like, old school guys, I work with Romeo Cornell, like, don't bring him no linebacker in there that's under 240 pounds. He gonna look at you like your head split up, like, what we gonna do with this guy? He can't set the edge. Like, I know what Rack wants. So I'm not gonna bring him something to the table, like I said earlier, of, why am I gonna bring him a guy that he's gonna hate the day the kid walks in the building? Doesn't make sense. Go ahead.
So let's talk about the process between the combine, pro day, and actually getting drafted. When people come out to the facilities, the club, you know, flies guys out to have a workout. I wonder who are they flying out to have this workout, and you know, what is the process about in between?
Are we talking about privates? Or are we talking about pro days? So,
privates.
Okay, so
30s, I think he's talking about.
So top 30 visits, you go visit guys? Okay, so if I want to do a private workout with a kid, I'll have a cast of people. I'm gonna have somebody filming. I'm bringing my own film people. I don't want to talk to your people. I'm gonna bring some guys. He's gonna jump out. He's gonna have his camera. We're gonna film it ourselves. We'll have our own set of balls. We're gonna have everything we need to some degree. And I may not have it all. I may put it on your kid. Hey man, you play what position? Okay, good. I need you to bring a set of cones, 4 balls, a bungee, and 2 pads. Got it? Got it. Now I'm gonna check the list when he gets there. What did he bring? What did he not bring? Now, I may already know that I've already talked to your strength coach. I don't have bungees. So I want to know what's he gonna show up with, and how did he get it, or where did he get it, or what did he come up with. So when he gets there, it's all about making sure the kid can be punctual, making sure that he can detail everything that's been asked of him. And then when he gets there, can he perform? So now I've given you a list of things to bring. Did you show up? Did you get it done? Now can you execute what we're gonna need you to execute? Then let's sit down and talk. Because again, there's no substitute for time and then try to figure out who you are. I don't know anybody in this room. No, I know Mr. Irons a little bit. But the reality is that the more time you spend, like even Neil. I didn't know Neil until, when did you call me? January? 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. I like Neil now. Neil got the phone, he can call. He's good. Like, but the more time we spend, the more we get to build a relationship. And that's what you're trying to figure out about the kid. I mean, we've been round robin on this. I mean, we've rented private planes and gone to 10 cities in 10 days and gone all around and jumped off the plane and met with a kid and had dinner with him, took him out, jumped back on the plane, fly to the next city, do it again. And what I want to know is, who are you? And I want to sit right next to you so I can smell your breath. Were you drinking last night? Have you been drinking already this afternoon? Like, talk to me. You got a sister? Would you let your sister date that guy over there? Yeah, I probably would. You can't come hang out with us. That guy there is a bad guy. Like, I want to know who you are. Can you judge character? How do you act? How do you respond? What'd you order? When you just want, like, I tell a kid a lot of times, hey, look, bill's on me. Wherever you want to go. Wherever you want to go, you pick it. I got the tab. Some kids choose TGI Fridays. Some kids want to go to Prime 112. Like let's go get it. Let's go. I got my suit on. Like, and then it's all dependent upon the kid. How do you show up? What you wear? How do you look? How you carrying yourself? What are you talking about? Like, we're aware of all of it. Like, social media, if you're really smart, tell them dudes to delete, kill the Twitter handle. That ain't me. I'm out. Cut the Facebook. I'm out. Cut the Snapchat, the Instagram. Cut it. Because we follow it. We watch it. We know. You say, look, I'm about this. Give an example. So a couple years ago, kid walks in the room, head coach shakes his hand, got a tattooed cross on his arm. So you a man of the faith? Love the Lord. All right, good. Good. What's your favorite verse? Man, John 3:16. All right. What's it say? You know, the Lord is good to those who's good to him. It's like, that's not John 3:16. It's not. Be who you are. The interview was over. At that point, it was over. I don't care what that kid said. He lost the head coach in 15 seconds into the room. It's over. It all comes back to guys got to be real, transparent, and guys you can trust. And that's what those visits are about. It's trying to understand the kid well enough that you can trust him and you know what you're getting with him. Because they'll expose a lot. Who's the entourage? Oh, those are just my boys. That dude over there with the weed coming with you? Oh, now everybody's stumbling for, okay, like this dude just walk around just rolling the joint off to the side. You're like, okay, like, yeah, he ain't in the draft, but you are. But that's your boy, then I know what you do. Everything comes back to who you are. And that's what guys are not paying attention to.
With all that being said, Mr. Farmer, can you speak about the last few drafts Cleveland had?
Sure.
About the character issues?
Who's the character issue?
The soon-to-be former quarterback for the Browns?
So, Mr. Manziel.
Yes.
Here's my question. What has he done that's illegal?
Nothing. No, I'm really.
So
I'm speaking about more ownership in the GM relationship. Being from Tennessee, I know about the family. So.
Again, here's what I'll say. He's done nothing illegal. Is he a knucklehead? Sure.
Well,
he's 21 years old. But again, I would have more of an issue with pick your company, dog.
Yeah.
So you're in your house drinking and partying, and then you sell the video to TMZ. You're not my boy. That's what I would have an issue with. So, like, you got to understand. This is for everybody. If you never want to be disappointed, lower your expectations. Expectations control your disappointments. You have a certain expectation of somebody and they don't meet it, it's like, oh damn, he did what? So the reality is, when you know, look, the dude's a monster in the night. After 12 o'clock is when he turned on. If you know that, your expectation for when you see him dancing at this 2 a.m., you're not shocked. You're shocked when you want him to be something different than you know he is. So I'd ask the question: Why does everybody love to kick the kid when he's look, his third NFL start, he threw 373 yards against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So the question is it about his performance and winning games, or is it about the fact that he parties and he likes to drink?
I'm just glad these didn't exist when I was his age. That's all I can say.
I mean, there's a lot of people like that. I can run, and I'm not gonna throw anybody else's names out there. There are a number of quarterbacks in this league that have lived the exact same lifestyle that young man's lived the first 3, 4, 5, 7 years of their careers. The difference is that they had a lot less scrutiny, a lot less public light for what they had to answer to. So, again, I will tell you, he's not a bad kid. He's really not. If you've ever met him, he is not a bad kid. The reality is the expectation for what he's supposed to be and what he's actually been doing, they don't add up. But then you see some of the war heroes start to crumble when you start to scratch behind what they really do. So the guys that we hold up and say, this is who you should be like. You start peeling back that onion a little bit, same thing that the other guy was doing, just people are keeping the secret. So, you know, I will tell you that not one guy that we brought to Cleveland did we not know what potentially could be out there. that you know, you want to know, and then again, it's all risk assessment. Another question you have for me. Risk assessment of where does character and making a guy undraftable or not draftable, where does all that match? It's all risk. If I know what your issues are, the question is, do I think I control it and can I mitigate my circumstance? If I think I can, not a big deal. If I don't think I can help you with whatever your issues are, I probably should leave you alone. So I know this for a fact. There's guys in this league that clubs will hire people, just, hey, look, everywhere he go, you go. Follow him. That's your guy. Don't lose him. Don't trade. Like, look, everywhere he go, you go. Something jump off, make sure he get home. Got it. That's your job. The reality is that I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to have to chase you. But if he's talented enough, he might.
Real quick, earlier you were talking about how the combine is to confirm things and to match up with tape.
Yep.
That being said, as a GM and a scout, the postseason games, Senior Bowl and the Shrine and all that stuff, how much stock do you guys put into players' performances in
I
those?
put more stock in that than I do combine stuff. The reason I do is that
It's a real game.
it's ball. But then not only is it ball, it's like sometimes you watch a game, you're like, who are they playing? Okay, they're playing K-State. Left tackle, where's the flip? I don't know, he ain't on no list. What year is he? Oh, he's just a freshman. Okay. So you really don't know this kid yet. You don't know anything about him other than he was a 4-star recruit from wherever in high school, and there's 2-3 games on him, and your guy is wearing him out. All right. Flip the script. Like, let's try to find, all-star games matter because it's generally good on good. I know who that other kid is. I know who this kid is. Let's see what happens. Man, he won. That's pretty good. I'll give you a good example. A kid from Hobart last year. Everybody was like, oh, he's from Hobart. He can't play. Who from Hobart plays in the league? Nobody. He went down to the Senior Bowl, started stabbing people, left hand, right hand, moving his feet, sliding. Just check that. Hobart. Then all of a sudden now Hobart got some applause.
But not for nothing, you also put the 245 on 36 times.
That's after the All-Star game.
I understand. Yeah.
So
you
yeah,
still a strong
had
second draft.
he put it up 36 times and not went to the Senior Bowl stab people, he wouldn't have won the second round. I'll bet you that. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I've seen kids come to the combine and put it up 40-something times. They can't play. They can't play. Had he gone to the Senior Bowl and fell on his face? I told you how to do with Hobart. Like, was a much different narrative for the conversations that were happening. But the fact that he went and represented himself well, and it was like, you know what? This dude didn't have no training table. He didn't have no weight program. He just showed up from Hobart at 310 pounds, and he's not fat. How do you get 310 pounds? Nobody on their campus is 310 pounds but him. So that kid did well for himself because it wasn't about his circumstance, it wasn't about where he was. He could just play. And no matter where you played him, this is the first time he ever played guard. Slid inside the guard, he's like, do what? The same thing you do at tackle, but just squat a little deeper. Got it, coach. Without boom, boom, stab, slide, it all adds up. It always comes back to how does this guy perform. The reality for all of us in the National Football League is really goods on goods. If your guy can't play against the guys you really see playing on Sunday, he's not going to make it, period. Because eventually, his number will get called. You can't be the second guard for forever. Like, sooner or later, they're going to put you in there and it's going to be like, we don't need this problem. We do not need this problem. This problem is going to get us beat because it's going to get our quarterback killed or it's going to get this person exposed or they're going to run the ball right over when he's in the game. Whoever you watch on Sunday, you watch real guys, you watch the Super Bowl, you watch Star Luther, you watch Greg John, you watch all these guys that play on Sunday. If your guy can't match up with that guy and hold his own, he will get cut. It's a matter of time. Not for long, people. NFL, not for long. The no fun league, too, to put it how you can. But realities are they are what they are. I mean, I'll stand here and answer questions for as long as you want. I see you already stood up, so.
Yeah, let's have a hand for it.